The East of England representative demanded the European Union put an end to the dreams for a second Brexit referendum and begin trade negotiations in earnest. Mr. Agnew pointed out to Brussels business in the bloc depend on access to the British market, and will need Eurocrats to secure a new commercial arrangement with Britain without delay. Addressing colleagues in the European Parliament, the British MEP said, up until very recently there's been an assumption that there may well be a second referendum in the UK because that's what happened in the 5 previous cases, one way or another, when there's been a vote against the EU. We all know now there will not be a second referendum. A negotiation for British exit must start in earnest. Beyond the political posturing, we have a sizable number of businessmen in Europe who depend upon access to the British market for the goods. I'm thinking of Dutch fresh produce growers, French wine producers, Spanish fruit growers, of course German car makers. All of these have thousands of jobs dependent on my country's purchase of your products. Britain is a major market for Dutch exporters, home to the tulip, who provide 80% of the flowers sold in British shops. Germany has been warned more than 100,000 jobs in the car manufacturing sector could be at risk in a no-deal scenario. Mr. Agnew continued, we do have in Britain, certainly among the sheep farmers, a sector depending on the European market for its surplus of production. Read more. Brexit live. Theresa May faces major revolt as ministers plot to delay leave date. Brexit news. Agnew demanded Brussels negotiate a deal in earnest. Image EUROPARLTV Getty. Can we please put these people to the priority now? The political posturing should stop and we must realize the people of Europe. The jobs and a good, seamless, frictionless agreement can be reached. Theresa May on Wednesday travelled to Brussels for the latest of her meetings with EU Commission boss Jean-Claude Juncker for a further attempt to secure new concessions on the Irish backstop. In a significant advance, Mr. Juncker agreed to explore alternative arrangements to solve the impasse over the backstop arrangements for the Irish border. A joint statement released after their meeting said, both reconfirmed the commitment to avoiding a hard border on the island of Ireland and to respect the integrity of the EU's internal market and of the United Kingdom. The two leaders agreed that talks had been constructive, and they urged their respective teams to continue to explore the options in a positive spirit. They will review progress again in the coming days, seized of the tight timescale and the historic significance of setting the EU and the UK on a path to a deep and unique future partnership. EU Chief Brexit negotiator Michel Barnier and Stephen Barclay, Secretary of State for exiting the European, are expected to thrash out a new framework for the talks, and Mrs. May and Mr. Juncker have agreed to speak again before the end of the month. The Prime Minister will head to a summit of European and Arab leaders in the Red Sea resort of Sharm el-Sheikh this weekend. Downing Street said the trip to Egypt would provide her with an opportunity to discuss her proposals for a revised Brexit deal with German Chancellor Angela Merkel, Irish Premier Leo Varadkar and other European counterparts. A senior government official said, there are important shared challenges to discuss with the League of Arab States like security cooperation. This is not a meeting about Brexit, and the Prime Minister is not seeking to turn it into one.